Hey, good evening. My name is Jody Shulnak. I am the program manager in the Office of International Programs at Clark College. Clark College is located in Vancouver, Washington. And today I'm going to discuss applying for U.S. community college admissions. Here is the agenda for this evening. I'm going to give you an overview of the community colleges, the system in the United States, decision-making for admission advisors at community colleges, a typical application checklist, tips for writing your college essay, other application tips. I'm also going to talk about university transfer and 2+2 partnerships. And then there'll be time at the end to have a Q&A session, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have at that time. A little bit about our institution. So we are Clark College. We are a two-year community college offering associate's degrees and certificates. We're located in Washington State. We pride ourselves on academic excellence. And I'm going to talk about this later, but we have over 20 partnerships with different universities. And so I'm going to talk about how easy it is to transfer to the university after completing your time at community college. Clark College offers small class sizes, and we're focused on learning. We've got student success at the forefront of our priority at Clark College. Just to give you a visual, this is the location of Clark College. We are on the West Coast in Washington State. Our city name is Vancouver, not to be confused with Canada. We are located in the United States. We are just over the border from Portland, Oregon. So the closest airport to Clark College is Portland International Airport, which is just 15 minutes from our campus. I'm going to discuss the overview of the U.S. community college system. Some of the benefits of attending a community college in the United States include offering the general education requirements that are necessary for completing any bachelor's degree in the United States. Essentially, community college is the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree program. We do offer associate's degrees at community colleges and at Clark College, but you can take care of all your general education requirements at a community college. It's a great opportunity to improve your GPA. You'll have a smaller class size, which means you'll have better opportunity to ask questions and receive that personal attention with your professors. Ultimately, that results in an easier transition in the United States and familiarizing yourself with the education system in a smaller, friendlier environment. Most community colleges do not require an SAT or ACT test score for admissions. So comparatively to universities, community colleges have a much more minimal application process, so less requirements at the time of application. Community colleges in the United States are also an excellent pathway to universities. If your end goal is to get a bachelor's degree, it's a wonderful idea to begin your education at a community college as a pathway to the university of your choice. Community colleges are often significantly less expensive in the United States than universities. This graph here illustrates a cost comparison. If you were to start at Clark College, the tuition for one academic year is $8,840 US. We've compared that with University of Washington in Seattle, whose college tuition is $25,601 for 1 year, or Harvard University in Massachusetts. One academic year tuition is $36,992. So you can see that starting at Clark College or other similar community college will offer significant savings towards your bachelor's degree by starting out with those first 2 years. I do want to mention also that community colleges are very popular with American students. So American students attend community colleges for all of these reasons, and it's an excellent way for students from Korea to begin their education in the United States as well. I'd like to encourage you to start thinking about college right now, regardless of what year you might be in school. There's many reasons to get an early start on the application process and consider thinking about all of the different steps in advance. One reason includes avoiding unnecessary anxiety and stress associated with college admissions processes. Applying for college or university can be stressful. You want to make sure that you have the right choice and make the best decision for you. So by starting early, you can really avoid the stress that might come with last-minute decisions and preparations. By starting early, it allows you to make informed decisions. You can research different schools and different options. You prepare for standardized tests. So that could be an English placement test, an SAT score, and so on and so forth. Start a college file. So what this means is build a file and start researching colleges and education options for you. And then that way you can go back and compare the different schools, entry requirements, the programs of study. Keeping everything organized in one place will help you, again, to make that informed decision. If ever you have a chance, you can visit the college that you're looking at applying to. The next best thing is to being in touch with admissions officers via email or social media, having the opportunity to ask those questions specifically to the schools that you're considering. Become a well-rounded student. So what that means, and I'll talk about this more in detail soon, is getting involved and having interests and hobbies that might look attractive to admissions officers at colleges and universities in the United States. That could be volunteering, extracurricular opportunities and activities. And finally, finding the right fit. So finding the right fit is important for American students as well. And what that means is you want to make sure that the school that you're looking at has the program that you're interested in, but also is the right size. Schools in the United States vary dramatically in size, anywhere from just a couple of thousand students to upwards of 40 or 50,000 students. So consider the size of school or institution that is comfortable for you. Also, a consideration could be the teaching philosophy, if you're looking for liberal arts, for example, or a research institution. So giving thought in advance is going to be critical for you to make the best decision when you are applying for colleges. Application deadlines, excuse me, I'm going to come back there. There's different deadlines for applications in U.S. institutions. I've outlined here what the deadline is for Clark College, and we actually have rolling admissions, which means we accept applications all year long. This gives great flexibility for students to be able to apply at any time. Clark College has 4 start times, and it is possible to start at any one of these 4 times throughout the year. Most of our students begin in September. That's our fall term. We also have a January start time, April, and July. Applications are reviewed in the order received for any school that has rolling admissions. And Clark College offers acceptance letters to those who meet the application requirements. Other types of application deadlines that you might see when you research different schools could be early decision or early action. and then also the standard deadline. So the school's website will post their application deadline, and you need to submit your materials prior to that time. Decision making. So how do college admission committees make their decisions? There's many different components that admissions officers are looking for. First of all, schools are looking for your English level and placement. So this may be a Toefl score, IELTS score, or from an English language center. Also, schools are looking for your transcripts and your GPA. They want to make sure that you are successful in an academic setting prior to coming to their institution. Most institutions have an essay or personal statement requirement. Often they're looking for how you have taken advantage of your opportunities. Have you been involved in extracurricular activities, for example? And also, what will you bring to our campus is a question that admissions officers are often asking when they review applications. You may also see that some applications require a letter of recommendation or a reference. That could be from a teacher from your high school. It could be a professional reference. You may also be asked for a copy of your resume or your CV. So you will see when you do your research that there's different requirements involved in the application itself. Most institutions will be very transparent with their application checklist. And so this is something important to keep an eye out for, and one that you'll want to follow very carefully. I've given you the example here of the Clark College application checklist. And so what's required for how to apply is, of course, our international admission application. Clark College asks for transcripts from your last school that's attended, current proof of financial support for 1 full academic year of study. At Clark College, that amount is $19,000 US. We also ask for an essay talking about your academic plan, and I'll go over in detail what that looks like in just a moment. Most institutions have an application fee for international applicants. Clark College requires $50 at the time of applying, and a copy of a passport, as well as proof of English proficiency. Clark College accepts Toefl and IELTS as the major two test scores that we're looking for, but it's also possible to start at a language center and transfer from there. I've taken a screenshot here of our international programs website, and so you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen is an Apply Now button. This is pretty typical for U.S. institutions. What to be looking for is an Apply Now or an application admissions feature where you can just submit your materials right through the website. The lower left corner, I've circled the Korean translation, and so this is a nice feature of our website for a family member or yourself if you prefer to view our application requirements or the programs that we offer in your native language. Other schools also offer a similar service on their websites. Writing your college essay. This is one of the most important features of your application materials when you apply for community college. We recommend that you choose a subject that's personal to you and write honestly and passionately. So what are your interests? What do you care about? And then make sure that you write those in your application essay, and make sure that what you write about is relevant to the admissions of that institution specifically. Give your essay a theme or a thesis. So make sure you identify a focal point for your paper and make sure that it's clear to the reader what your theme is in your essay. You'll want to start with an attention-grabbing opening. So admissions officers are reading often hundreds of essays, and they're going through many applications. So the catchier your opening statement is going to draw the reader in and want to keep reading your material, and it's going to set you and your application apart from all the others in their pile. Be sure to use specific examples and be concise. The institution will identify exactly what they're looking for, both in quantity of how large your essay should be, but typically they're giving you prompting questions or statements for you to address in your essay. And my most important advice for writing your essay or personal statement really is to revise it and proofread. And once you've proofread it again and have somebody else proofread it. Spelling and grammar mistakes are noticed in your essays, and so having a flawless essay is going to set you apart again from other applicants. It is a good idea to ask a teacher or faculty or even a counselor at your high school to proofread, or your parents could proofread it as well. This is an example of an essay requirement, and it's the essay requirement we offer here at Clark College. We are looking for 300 to 500 words. When you type it up in a Word document, you can be sure to track how many words that you are writing. Admissions officers really are looking for that amount, so it's intentional for the size. You don't want to have too many pages or words that are exceeding it, but you also don't want too few either. So what we're asking for is to submit a brief explanation of your educational plan and your career goals. So specifically, how do you plan to achieve these goals? Do you plan to transfer to a four-year university? Do you plan to complete a career technical degree or certificate? And how is attending Clark College going to help you achieve your overall goal? Most of our students at Clark College are on the path or have the goal to transfer to a four-year university, and over 95% of our international students do transfer to a university successfully after completing Clark College. Some additional tips for the application overall. Again, I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again, is to plan ahead and start early. Remember, start a file and organize yourself in that way. You'll want to read and follow the instructions carefully. Again, the admissions officers are screening a lot of applications, and so the more organized you are, the better. You want to make sure that everything is addressed that they're asking for. Neatness is important. And so you want to make sure that your application materials are legible and neat and organized, and again, that are grammatically correct. U.S. institutions are interested in extracurricular activities. This is very important. If we have two candidates who are pretty equal in every other way, maybe their GPAs are the same and they've taken similar courses, if one of those students has been involved in a lot of extracurricular activities and the other has not at all, the person who's been involved in the activities is going to have the preference, especially for schools that have a limited amount of students that they are able to accept each term. Again, this is redundant, but the recommendation is to proofread and revise all of your application materials. And also keep a copy for your records. Chances are you're going to be applying to multiple institutions. That is a good idea to give yourself many options. But keep a file for your records so that you can go back to them when you're contacted for an interview or when you're making your final decision. If you've been accepted to 2 or more institutions, referring back to that copy can be very helpful in making your final decision. I've listed a resource here through the American Councils and Education USA that I found really helpful to get more tips on what to do and what not to do when you are applying for U.S. schools, both colleges and universities. This is a pretty comprehensive site that has everything from writing your essay and personal statement, crafting your resume or CV, as well as other components to your application for admission. I'm going to transition here now into discussion about transferring to a university. This is one of the key features of any U.S. community college. Most students who study at a community college transfer to university once they receive their associate's degree. So this is what we call 2+2 at Clark College. So you can complete 2 years at Clark College or other community college. You do get 1 year of optional practical training, which is work experience, after you complete your associate's degree at a community college. Then you can choose to transfer to a university. Once you've finished and completed your bachelor's degree, you can get a 2nd year of optional practical training. This is a really nice opportunity for you to have 2 degrees in the United States plus 2 years of work experience in the United States. The way OPT works is it's an extension on your I-20, so you still would be in the United States on your F1 student visa, but you would have permission from the U.S. government to stay for an additional year to get work experience. So again, we call this 2+2. Clark College has an academic advisor specifically for international students, and she is an expert on the universities that our students transfer to. So she can meet with you from the very beginning of your time at Clark College and advise you on the requirements of the university so that you are on the right path to being successful when you go to transfer and apply. Another benefit of a university transfer option is to save money. A few slides ago, we looked at the cost comparison between starting at a community college and starting at a 4-year university. So by starting at a community college, you can save thousands of US dollars. The end goal, you'll still have your bachelor's degree after 4 years, but in the meantime, you've saved a lot of money. Another major benefit of starting at community college and then transferring to the university is the easy transition. Community colleges offer smaller class sizes and more personal attention from your instructor. And so it's a nice environment to begin your education in the United States before you transfer to a 4-year university. At Clark College, we have direct transfer agreements with over 20 universities. Most all of these universities are located in Washington and Oregon states. We do have one also at Northern Arizona University. What this means is these universities recognize all of the credits that Clark College offers. We are an accredited community college, and so all of the credits that you earn at Clark College transfer seamlessly to the universities listed here. It is possible to transfer to other universities. Certainly you can go to any school in the United States. You may just find that you lose credits or you might have to repeat a class, but we have students that transfer to really all 50 states, California, New York, Texas, Chicago, and so forth. I'm going to take questions at this time. Before I do that, I did want to mention that we do have email, and I invite you to visit our website, which again has that Korean translation, which is a nice feature. We are also on Facebook, and we would love to have you follow us on Facebook. The Facebook search you could do is Clark College International Programs. At this time, I am happy to take questions.
I have a question. Do you guys have specific university curriculums, like for other close to east side community college has like FIT curriculum, Some community college has Harvard curriculum.
I see.
Yeah.
We do not. We just have this. Oh, sorry. The question is, does Clark College have different types of curriculum?
Yeah.
And Clark College really offers the standard associate's level curriculum. And we also do have certificate programs, but we don't have like the Harvard or the IB curriculum.
How many, you said the classes are very small size. How many students are in one class usually?
Sure. So the average number of students in any given class at Clark College is 25 students. Students that are starting in our intensive English program, those classes are much smaller. They could be anywhere from 5 to 10 students. We keep those classes smaller intentionally so that it's a kind of safer, friendlier environment for practicing English language.
Do you guys have an ESL course?
We do have ESL courses at Clark College, yes.
Do you have ESL courses or ESL program?
It's an ESL program and ESL courses, yes. So we have a 4-level ESL program. And at Clark College, we call it ENL, which is English for Non-Native Language. And it's really designed as a bridge program. And so you do need some basic level of English skills to be successful in that. And then it's 4 levels, and then you would go to academic ready classes.
How long students have to take?
It depends on the student. If the student's advancing on time in the average, that is another 1 year. So it would be 1 year through the English program plus the 2 years for the associate's degree.
Do you guys have any medical major?
We have certificate programs. We have one of our biggest programs is nursing. So the question was, do we have medical programs? And yeah, nursing, and we have health occupations. We have dental hygiene, phlebotomy, and physician's assistant. We also have a medical assistant program, and then medical billings and billing and records.
Oh, the tuition is $19,000. Is it including the?
Good question. So the question is about our tuition. Our tuition fees alone is $8,840 for 1 academic year. The total financial package is $19,000, and that includes tuition, housing, including all of your meals, textbooks, personal expenses, health insurance, and then your bus pass for Vancouver. Another question I received was about housing. Clark College has 2 housing options. The first one is homestay, so students can stay with an American family, and they are placed in a family that's close to the college, that's a safe environment, and that is with a family that's been carefully screened. The second choice is an off-campus apartment. And so our staff at Clark College will help students find apartments, again, that are close, that are affordable, and that most of all are safe. Safety is our #1 priority. And again, our staff can help with either one of those options. We do not have on-campus housing. Because we're located in a city, we're lucky that we have many housing options within walking distance of the college or within a very short and easy bus ride.
Then for the Korean high school students who just graduated and if they want to go to Clark College, would they have to take Toefl and they need to 3-year high school transcript, or do they also do a school transcript?
Okay, so for Korean students applying to Clark College, the transcript that they'll need is from the last school attended. So if they finished high school, just their high school transcripts is sufficient. We do not need their middle school transcripts. And the second part of your question, I already forgot.
So the high school students going to TOEFL school.
Yep, so the question is a TOEFL score required for admissions at Clark College? And yes, for any student applying to Clark College, we do ask for TOEFL or other English proficiency score. That could also be IELTS. Even if you're studying in our intensive English program, we still need a TOEFL score so that we can appropriately place the student in the level of English where they will be successful. Do all of the community colleges in the U.S. require TOEFL score? They do not. That's a great question. You'll find that requirement varies from school to school. Programs that have a full intensive English program from 0 to academic ready, for example, those institutions typically do not require a TOEFL score. Our program is more of a bridge program, so we require kind of an elementary level of English proficiency and then advance from there. So that's why we require the TOEFL score. But you'll find both, some that do require it and some do not. If a student were to start in an intensive language program outside of Clark College, for example, Kaplan Aspect or ELS Language Centers, they do not need a TOEFL score. Once they complete a certain level in those English programs, they have met the requirement to become academic ready at Clark College, and they do not need a TOEFL score.
In the case of community colleges that don't have on-campus housing, I mean, you talked a little bit about what you could apply for. What do you recommend for students that need to find housing, and what is the process usually?
What's the process for students to find housing at community colleges? The process varies, again, from institution to institution. I would recommend that the student who is applying really reach out to the international program staff, because that is something that's consistent across institutions as a resource that's going to help find housing. And so you'll find that some community colleges do offer on-campus dormitories or housing. Some do not, such as Clark College, but all community colleges will offer resources and help in finding housing. We understand students are coming a long way to study in the United States, and so admissions offices and international program offices are really concerned about housing for students and want to make sure that students are comfortable and safe, and will offer the assistance in providing that support for students. Those are the three housing choices you'll see in most community colleges: on-campus dorms, off-campus apartments, and then homestay with an American family.
How long does it take to get accepted?
That's great. At Clark College, when a student applies for admissions, we process applications anywhere from 1 to 3 business days. So you'll find we process them very, very fast. So within 3 days, they should have a letter of acceptance or an acknowledgement one way or another on their acceptance. Other community colleges fall within that same time frame, but you might see some that take longer time. For example, community colleges that might have thousands of international students are going to have a slower processing time, but that's a good thing to keep in mind when you're applying, is to research what the school's time frame is. Again, that's another reason why you would want to start early as well. But at Clark College, we do our very best to process them quickly and efficiently and get word back to the student one way or another right away.
Is it the system semester or quarter?
Great question. Clark College is on the quarter system, so we have 4 quarters. Most of the schools on the West Coast are on the quarter system, so Washington, Oregon, and California. That's very common. However, the US as a whole are typically on semesters, so you'll see 2 semesters. So that's another great thing to be looking for when you're applying for education in the US, is to look at their quarter or semester system and also their application deadlines and see how that coincides with your needs.
Then do you accept that you are doing the rolling admission system?
Yes.
Do you accept the students for second quarter or third?
We do. So Clark College accepts applications all year long. And so we have students that start in the second quarter, third quarter, and even the fourth quarter. It's possible to start in July, which is our summer term. It is a quieter term. But yeah, students have the choice to start at any time of the year, any of those 4 times.
Then how about the tuition payment? Do they have to pay full all the time?
Yeah, so the tuition numbers that I presented earlier is based on 12 academic credits, which is the requirement for students on an F1 visa in the US. That's the minimum. And so they pay based on the credits that they're enrolled in. Yep, so even if they were to start in the second term in January, they're paying their tuition for that term based on the number of credits that they're enrolled in. All right, well, thank you for your time, and I hope to see you at Clark College shortly.